Hey guys, Devin here from Tech, and today we're going to be doing an unboxing of the LG Stylo 3 that I picked up from Straight Talk at Walmart for $114. Like I said guys, I picked this up from Straight Talk Wireless at Walmart, and on the bottom here it just shows a couple specs. So it has a 5.7-inch LCD display, 720p, Android 7.0, 16 gigs of onboard storage, and 2 gigs of RAM. Right here it tells you that it's got a 13 megapixel rear facing camera, 5 in the front, and Wi-Fi. However, it does not support AC Wi-Fi, so it will be a little bit slower than some of the flagship phones that are out there. On the inside of the package here, it just shows a couple more specs of the device, and up here it actually says Qualcomm Snapdragon, and that is because this phone is actually using the Qualcomm Snapdragon 435 inside, paired with 2 gigs of RAM, which is clocked at 1.4 gigahertz, so we should see how the performance is. It should be pretty good, especially when comparing it to the previous generation LG Stylo 2 Plus. So without any further ado, let's go ahead and get it open. Alright guys, so pulling out the box, standard Straight Talk packaging, phone up front, and let's go ahead and open it up. So take that off, and we are going to move the phone to the side for now. Underneath it comes with the battery, LG's little signature logo there, life's good when you play more. And the battery is, I believe it's 2,900 milliamp hours. Actually, it's a lot bigger. It's 3,200 milliamp hours, so you should get some pretty good battery life, especially since it's powering a budget processor and a low resolution screen. So here we get the back plate, which is replaceable, so if you want to buy a different color or anything from an off-brand, say on eBay or anything, you definitely have the option to do so, especially since there's some track phone branding right there, which I do not like. But we're going to go ahead and move that to the side as well. So we get some paperwork, which nobody reads, so just... and then we get the charging brick, and I do not believe this phone supports fast charging, so you're going to get some pretty slow charging times there, just pretty normal. And here is the charging cable, and unfortunately this phone does not support USB Type-C, so it's going to be the old standard micro USB cable. Some people say that's good, some people say that's bad. It all depends on the user. USB Type-C is a lot faster, universally. You know, it's reversible, all that good stuff, but micro USB is definitely more accessible and cheaper to buy a cable. As you can see right there, it's micro USB. I'm gonna go ahead and set that to the side, and then we have some Straight Talk paperwork, which we do not need because this is a phone for review purposes. So we're gonna go ahead and move all that stuff to the side, and now we're gonna move to the phone. So the phone right here, as you can see, it's got this little sort of display on it. It's a little plastic thing that goes on top, just to kind of show you what the phone would look like if it was powered on, so that when you look at it in the display, you can kind of tell what's going on. On the back here, you have your fingerprint scanner, along with a single LED flash and your 13 megapixel rear-facing camera. As you can see, the back plate is actually off because, as we saw earlier, removable battery. Speaker grill down here. And on the bottom, we have your micro USB charging port and your 3.5 millimeter headphone jack, which a lot of phones don't actually have anymore. So we're going to take off this piece right here. We're going to put in the battery, power on the phone, and then I'm going to show you a couple features that this phone is unique to. While we wait for this to power on, guys, I'm going to show you a little bit around the device. So on the left-hand side, you do have your two volume rockers right there, up and down. Nothing on the right side or the top other than your microphone. And as I said earlier, on the bottom you have a microphone, micro USB charging port, 3.5 millimeter headphone jack. Now, the reason this phone is called the LG Stylo is because it follows in the footsteps of the previous Stylo devices. And the reason they're called Stylo devices is because they actually have a stylus. So on this particular device, in the top right corner, that little curve, there's a little notch right under there. You stick your fingernail and you pull out, and there is your actual stylus. And this stylus is a lot more fine point than previous Stylo devices, so it should be able to get much more accurate shots. So if you're trying to draw or write something, it should be a little more fine, almost like a ballpoint pen. Alright guys, so now that the phone is powered on, we're going to go ahead and go through the setup process. So we're welcomed with a welcome screen. We're going to go ahead and skip through all of this. So we're going to go ahead and pick my Wi-Fi. I'll be right back with the password. After typing in my Wi-Fi password, it came up if I wanted to start the device as new or restore from a backup from another device. I just click starting as new, and then it takes us to this checking info screen where it's going to go ahead and go through everything. Add Google account. We're going to go ahead and skip through all of this because we do not need this right now. So I'm going to go ahead and set up the fingerprint scanner for you guys. So we're going to go ahead and do a basic pin of 1, 2, 3, 4. And so we're going to scan our fingerprint. So as I mentioned earlier, the fingerprint scanner is actually on the power button on the back. So you're just going to tap it a couple times. It's going to read your fingerprint. It's actually very fast, very accurate. We're going to agree to this, skip through it, and we're greeted by the lock screen. So now we're going to go ahead and lock the screen, and I'm going to show you the fingerprint scanner. So you just touch it with the finger that you registered. Let me enter my password the first time. After you've done it the first time, you simply touch it with your finger, and boom, it's unlocked. It's very quick, very responsive, very accurate, and it's actually surprising to see on such a budget phone. And as you can see, going through the UI, this phone is actually really snappy. It's going through everything really quickly, really smoothly, and that's something that's reassuring considering that it's only $114. So now we're going to go ahead and take a test shot with the camera. So let's go ahead and use the power brick here. 13 megapixel rear facing camera. As you guys can see, pretty detailed. You can read everything on there. And this is with some decent lighting, not great. And that is just from the flash of my camera that we're using right now. Let's go ahead and do a front-facing camera test. Five megapixels in the front. Definitely a lot lower quality, a little blurry because of the shake, so it doesn't have optical image stabilization on either. So now let's go ahead and test out the stylus. So it's in the top right corner here. You pull it out. When you pull it out, it comes up with this menu: Pop Menu, Capture Plus, Pop Scanner, and Quick Memo Plus. So we're going to go ahead and go on Quick Memo Plus just because we can sort of draw and do a couple other things. So on Quick Memo Plus, you can jot down whatever you need to. You see how very responsive it is. You can do whatever you want. I'm just going to go ahead and erase all of this. And from the lock screen, let me put it back in. From the lock screen of the device, if you pull out the stylus, it leaves you with a blank black canvas that you can just write whatever you want to on it. You can see it's very responsive, very accurate. It's a fine point pen to do whatever you want to draw. Anyways, guys, other than that, that is the quick unboxing and review of the LG Stylo 3. With that being said, I'll see you guys next time. Peace.